What's going on, Anatomy Kids? Me, Mr. Summers, coming to you live from the COVID-19 bunker, palatial Edina Estate. You can now officially say you know every bone in the body because you do. You just did wrist and ankle quizzes, but you learned all parts of the skull and all the major bones of the body too. So if you're looking at this, we are in. I did some rearranging because my wife yelled at me that everything on here was like too much, so I just got rid of everything. Now you have just the distance learning one. All those should be unpublished to you. And then in the distance learning one, we are in the bones, joints, and movement test or unit, which I've just published the two things, which are bones and the note sheet. If you want to write down the notes, feel free. If you don't want to write down the notes, feel free to. Hi, Luca. My dog just came downstairs in the COVID bunker. So if you're going to do it, great. If not, you're still going to need to know the information because that's what this unit is about. This bones one is where we start. And we're going to go through parts of a long bone and then types of bones. For this, I don't want to run it this way. So hey, you guys are just going to hang out for a second while I find that one somewhere else. What do you guys want to talk about? Anything exciting? Riveting, isn't it? Look how much crap I have on my desktop. It's too much. I need to burn the whole building down. All right, here we go. So, PowerPoint, huh? This one's about the skeletal system in case you didn't piece it together. So if you do have that note sheet and you printed it, great. If you didn't print it, your world, you're still going to need to know it. You can just write down the notes like a regular human being does. Here we go. Yay, skeletal system. If you didn't know what the function of your skeletal system was, where am I going to put myself? Where I'm not going to, oh hey, there it is. The most obvious one is that your skeletal system is there for support. It is how you link your axial skeleton to your appendicular, so like the mid part of your body, which is the axial skeleton, to the appendicular, which is your appendages, arms and legs, things like that. That's pretty much all I had. It's really good. Killing it so far. Obviously, it's for protection. Specifically, your ribs protect your heart. Skull protects your brain. That's pretty normal. Pup's coming up. It's coming up on the couch with me. Just gonna lay it down. Say hi, Bubba. He's just chilling. I'll be petting him for the rest of the time, so if you need anything, you're not gonna get this left hand. Obviously, your skeletal system is a lever for movement. The actual movement comes from the muscles themselves contracting, but the pivot point for that contraction to take place is the lever itself. And if you do remember this one from back in the homeostasis, I think this is what happens when you search the word homie. Some part of me feels like that's vanilla ice, but it might not be. But your bones store specifically calcium and phosphorus in them, which is helpful to you. Don't your breast stings. This one is amazing if you want to try to pronounce that without me saying it, but it's actually pronounced hematopoiesis. Your bones specifically, I don't know why this one said that because this is not the right one. Your bones, the flat ones, which we'll get into in a second, which are scapula, skull, ribs, and your pelvis, make red blood cells. That's it. That's red marrow. Yellow marrow is the stuff you find inside of a long bone. So you'll see that in a second. And your body does store a lot of energy in that yellow marrow inside of a long bone. So humerus, the long ones you can name, tib, fib, femur, humerus, those are all long bones, and inside they have yellow marrow. So if you've ever given like your dog this guy right here, so hi Bubs, he likes chewing on marrow bones, which happen to be, I think, parts of a cow femur cut up. You're right, and that's trying to get at the yellow marrow in there. We'll go through the types of bones, and then we'll stop for today. So it'll probably be all of 10 minutes for this so fresh lecture. Long bones are the first type of bone. Long means that it has two ends and a shaft. I can say shaft and then giggle because I'm an adult. Shaft. That means this thing and this thing are different from this piece in the middle, right? That's what two ends and a shaft mean. Femur, humerus, tib, fib, all your metacarpals, your metatarsals, those are all long bones, in that the end is distinctly different than the middle. Short ones, you should be able to name all of these. I feel like we're looking at scaphoid here because I can't tell from this picture, right? All of those are short in that they are just little cube-like nubs, in that there's no distinctly different region to any of these bones here, right? Whereas this, or this one, right, this radius right here, this end here is way different than this middle section. It even happens to be different types of bone. This is actually spongy here, and this is compact over there, and you'll get into that later. But that's distinctly different. So all the tarsals and carpals are short bones. Flat are exactly as they sound. They're flat. All these ones that make up the skull, your ribs, your pelvis, your scapula are all flat bones. That they are not overly thick. If you remember from our assemble a rabbit or a cat, right? There are a lot of rib bones in there that were flat in nature. Most of you thought that the scapula was some weird bone you couldn't figure out, plus the pelvis looked awkward too. Those ones, again, are the ones that make red blood cells, which is why people get bone marrow transplants from a pelvis, because that's where the red blood cells are located in the marrow that makes that. So you can then take that out, put it into another person. Irregular, the one you could easily name is that this vertebrae looks nothing like any other bone in your body. They're not long, they're not short, they're not flat. They are irregularly shaped, so they are distinctly different. Incus, malleus, and stapes are three bones that make up your ear, but you should know that because you wrote them down once, like 6 months ago, or maybe it was like 7 weeks ago. It just feels like it's been so long. Coronavirus. And the last of them is a sesamoid bone. So sesamoid bones are bones embedded in some sort of tendon. Your patella is the easiest one for you to know. You do have sesamoid bones in your little hooves down here. Oh, I can hear Clucky screaming upstairs. He must be hungry. And you do have sesamoid bones in your hand. If you did not see them in our so fresh picture, I'll show it to you. Here is the sweet pic of your wrist. That should have been the one on the test. And look, you can see the sesamoid bones right there on your thumb side, where your metacarpals meet your, we'll call that one proximal phalanx. There's a series of little bones. Same thing on your hoof or your foot. If you didn't feel like I'm making fun of you because you got a hoof, but you can't see it from that pic. But that's it. That's where we stop for this first part. We'll go through parts of a long bone later. As always, I do miss you guys terribly. I have way too much stuff on my desktop. There, that makes me feel better. And hope to see you soon.